she walked onto the range in scrubs, dismissed as useless, until every bullseye shattered, and even the instructors stopped breathing. The mockery started before Lieutenant Commander Alexandra, Kane, even reached the firing line. 30 SEAL candidates watched her approach in pristine medical scrubs, her blonde hair pulled back in regulation style, carrying what appeared to be a standard-issue medical bag instead of shooting equipment. "Are you lost, Doc?" Petty Officer Stevens called out, his voice dripping with condescension. "The medical tent is back that way. This is where real shooters train." Chief Petty Officer Martinez, the lead marksmanship instructor with 15 years of SEAL experience, barely looked up from his rifle preparation. "Ma'am, this is advanced precision marksmanship training. Medical personnel aren't authorized on the firing line during live exercises." What none of them knew was that Lieutenant Commander Kane had just been transferred from the most classified precision shooting unit in the United States military, a unit so secret that its existence was known only to a handful of Pentagon officials and the President's national security team. Before we dive into this incredible story of assumptions, extraordinary skill, and the moment that changed everything at SEAL training, tell us in the comments which country you're watching from today. And if you believe that true expertise often hides behind the most unexpected appearances, hit that subscribe button to support our channel. Lieutenant Commander Alexandra Kane had arrived at Naval Special Warfare Training Center with transfer orders that listed routine medical support duties, but her actual background was classified at levels that exceeded the security clearance of everyone at the facility, including the commanding officer. Her previous assignment had been with a Joint Special Operations Unit designated only as Task Force Echo, a precision shooting detachment that conducted the most sensitive elimination missions in the global war on terrorism. The unit's existence was so classified that its operations were briefed only to the Secretary of Defense and select members of the National Security Council. Alexandra's journey to becoming America's most lethal female precision marksman had begun 12 years earlier, when she was selected for the Navy's most advanced medical training, while simultaneously demonstrating shooting capabilities that impressed even seasoned instructors. Unlike traditional military career paths that required choosing between medical and combat specialties, Alexandra had been identified for a program that combined both disciplines. The selection process for Task Force Echo had been unlike anything in the military. Candidates needed advanced medical degrees, demonstrated precision shooting capabilities exceeding special operations standards, and psychological profiles that indicated ability to make life-and-death medical decisions while simultaneously engaging targets at extreme distances. Dr. Kane, her original recruiting officer, had explained during her initial briefing, "We need operators who can provide advanced trauma surgery and eliminate high-value targets with equal precision. The missions we conduct require someone who can save lives and take them with the same level of expertise." Her training had been conducted at facilities that didn't appear on any military maps, using equipment that was years ahead of anything available to conventional forces. She had learned to perform complex surgical procedures while under simulated enemy fire, to engage targets at distances exceeding 2,000 meters, and to make tactical medical decisions that could affect the outcome of international operations. The missions she had participated in were documented only in files secured in Pentagon vaults, but her confirmed eliminations included 17 high-value terrorist targets, 12 enemy snipers who had been killing American forces, and 23 precision shots that had enabled the successful extraction of captured American personnel. Her longest confirmed kill was 2,247 meters in Afghanistan, where she had eliminated an enemy sniper who was preventing the medical evacuation of wounded Rangers. The shot had been taken under extreme wind conditions at an elevation that made breathing difficult, using environmental calculations that most snipers couldn't perform under optimal conditions. But perhaps more impressive than her shooting capabilities were her medical achievements. She had performed emergency surgery on wounded special operations personnel while their positions were under direct enemy fire, conducted medical evacuations through hostile territory, and saved the lives of operators whose injuries would have been fatal without immediate advanced trauma care. Dr. Kane, her Task Force Echo commander, had written in her final evaluation, represents the perfect integration of medical expertise and precision shooting capabilities. Her ability to provide life-saving medical care and eliminate threats that prevent mission success makes her invaluable for operations where traditional support isn't available. Her transfer to the SEAL training facility had been part of a classified program designed to enhance the medical and marksmanship training of America's most elite warriors. The program required placing experienced operators in routine assignments where they could assess current training methods and develop enhanced curricula based on operational experience. But the candidates and instructors at the facility saw only what appeared to be another medical officer assigned to provide routine healthcare support. Her medical credentials were impressive enough to warrant respect for her professional capabilities, but nothing in her visible background suggested combat experience or shooting skills. The first 3 weeks of her assignment had proceeded exactly as everyone expected. Alexandra provided excellent medical care for training injuries, maintained her medical station with professional competence, and remained largely invisible to the candidates who were focused on the demanding requirements of SEAL training. Her interactions with the marksmanship instructors had been minimal and professional. She had observed several shooting exercises from the medical station, positioned to provide immediate care for any training accidents, but she had never engaged in discussions about shooting techniques or equipment. Chief Martinez had noticed her observing the shooting training with what appeared to be more than casual interest, but he had attributed this to professional curiosity about the activities she was providing medical support for. "The doc seems interested in what we're doing," Martinez had commented to his assistant instructors, probably trying to understand the training so she can better anticipate potential injuries. Senior Chief Roberts, the facility's most experienced marksmanship instructor, had been more perceptive. "There's something different about her. She watches the shooting like she understands what she's seeing, not like someone who's just curious." But none of the instructors suspected that Alexandra was analyzing their training methods through the lens of operational experience that exceeded their own backgrounds. She had been mentally noting areas where the training could be enhanced based on techniques she had learned and used in combat environments. The situation that would reveal Alexandra's true capabilities began during the 4th week when the facility was conducting advanced precision marksmanship evaluation. This was one of the most challenging phases of SEAL training, where candidates were tested on shooting skills that would determine their suitability for precision marksmanship roles in operational teams. The evaluation included shooting at distances from 300 to 1,000 meters under various weather conditions and stress factors designed to simulate combat environments. Only candidates who demonstrated exceptional marksmanship capabilities would be selected for advanced sniper training that could lead to assignment with the military's most elite units. Alexandra was positioned at her standard medical station, monitoring candidates for signs of fatigue or stress that might affect their safety while remaining ready to respond to any shooting accidents. Her role was routine medical oversight, exactly what everyone expected from a medical officer with no apparent shooting background. The morning evaluation was proceeding normally when Petty Officer Stevens, who had been particularly dismissive of Alexandra's presence, began struggling with his shooting performance. His shots were consistently missing the target center, and his frustration was becoming apparent to other candidates and instructors. "Stevens, Chief," Martinez called out, "you're rushing your shots. Slow down, control your breathing, and focus on consistent sight picture." But Stevens continued struggling, and his performance was approaching the threshold for elimination from the advanced marksmanship program. His shots were erratic, his technique was deteriorating under pressure, and his confidence was obviously shattered. During a break in the evaluation, Stevens approached the firing line where Alexandra was checking on candidates who appeared stressed or fatigued. His frustration was evident, and he was clearly seeking any excuse for his poor performance. "Doc," Stevens said loudly enough for other candidates to hear, "maybe you can tell these instructors that medical personnel shouldn't be on the range during serious training. It's distracting to have non-shooters watching us work." Alexandra's response was professional and measured. "Petty Officer Stevens, I'm positioned here to provide immediate medical support if needed. My presence shouldn't affect your shooting performance." But Stevens wasn't satisfied with her diplomatic response. "Easy for you to say. You've probably never fired a weapon in your life. Maybe you should try it before you judge whether your presence affects real shooters." The challenge hung in the air like smoke from the rifles. Other candidates had stopped their conversations to listen, and the instructors were watching to see how Alexandra would handle the confrontation. Chief Martinez intervened before Alexandra could respond. "Stevens, the medical officer is here to keep you alive if you do something stupid. Focus on your own shooting instead of making excuses." But Stevens had committed himself to the confrontation and wasn't backing down. "All I'm saying is that maybe medical personnel should understand shooting before they supervise shooters. If she's so confident, maybe she should demonstrate her expertise." The challenge was clearly intended to embarrass Alexandra and deflect attention from Stevens' poor performance. He expected her to decline gracefully, reinforcing his narrative that medical personnel didn't belong on ranges where serious shooting was conducted. Instead, Alexandra did something that shocked everyone who witnessed it. "Chief Martinez," Alexandra said calmly, "if it would be helpful for training purposes, I'd be willing to demonstrate basic marksmanship techniques." The firing line fell completely silent. No one had expected the medical officer to accept Stevens' challenge, and the instructors were uncertain about how to respond to her offer. "Ma'am," Chief Martinez said carefully, "we appreciate your willingness to help, but this is advanced precision marksmanship training. The targets and distances involved require extensive shooting experience." Alexandra's response revealed knowledge that none of them had suspected. "Chief, I understand the requirements. If you're comfortable with me demonstrating shooting fundamentals at whatever distance you consider appropriate, I'm willing to participate." Senior Chief Roberts, who had been observing the entire exchange, made a decision that would change everything at the facility. "Doc, if you're serious about this, we'll set you up at 300 meters with standard equipment. But understand that these candidates are being evaluated on precision shooting that most military personnel can't achieve." Alexandra nodded her acceptance, and the instructors began preparing a shooting position for what they expected would be a brief demonstration of basic marksmanship, followed by polite recognition of her willingness to participate. What happened next would be discussed at the facility for years to come. Alexandra approached the rifle that had been prepared for her, a precision shooting system identical to those used by the candidates. She examined the weapon with the kind of professional familiarity that comes from extensive experience with similar equipment. Her equipment check was thorough and systematic, demonstrating knowledge of rifle systems that surprised the instructors who were observing her preparation. She adjusted the scope with practiced efficiency, checked the bolt operation with professional competence, and positioned herself at the firing line with technique that exceeded basic marksmanship training. "Ma'am," Chief Martinez said, "the target is at 300 meters. We'll start with 5 shots for group measurement, then assess whether you'd like to continue the demonstration." Alexandra settled into her shooting position with movements that immediately caught the attention of every instructor on the range. Her position was textbook perfect, not the kind of adequacy that comes from basic military training, but the refined precision that results from thousands of rounds fired under demanding conditions. Her breathing control, sight alignment, and trigger technique were flawless. Even before she fired her first shot, the instructors were exchanging glances that suggested they had dramatically underestimated the medical officer's capabilities. Alexandra's first shot impacted the target with a distinctive crack that carried clearly across the range. The electronic scoring system immediately confirmed what the spotting scopes had already revealed: dead center bullseye. "Nice shot," Senior Chief Roberts commented, assuming that Alexandra had achieved a lucky result that she probably wouldn't be able to repeat. Her second shot impacted within millimeters of the first. Her third shot created a group that was tighter than most of the candidates had achieved during their evaluation. By her fourth shot, the range had grown noticeably quiet as candidates and instructors realized they were witnessing shooting that exceeded their own capabilities. Alexandra's fifth shot completed a group that was smaller than a quarter at 300 meters, precision shooting that represented the gold standard for military marksmanship training. "Outstanding shooting," Chief Martinez announced, his voice carrying obvious respect and surprise. "That's the best group we've seen today." But Alexandra wasn't finished. "Chief, would it be helpful if I demonstrated techniques at longer distances?" The question revealed confidence that suggested her 300-meter performance wasn't the limit of her capabilities. Senior Chief Roberts made a decision that would reveal just how dramatically they had underestimated their medical officer. "Doc, let's see what you can do at 600 meters." The 600-meter targets represented serious precision shooting that challenged even experienced military marksmen. Environmental factors became more significant, ballistic calculations more complex, and technique requirements more demanding. Alexandra's approach to long-range shooting demonstrated knowledge and experience that exceeded anything the instructors had expected. She observed wind conditions with professional competence, made ballistic adjustments with practiced efficiency, and prepared for shots that would test capabilities few military personnel possessed. Her first shot at 600 meters was slightly left of center, a minor adjustment that any competent shooter would make based on environmental conditions. Her second shot impacted dead center, and her subsequent shots created a group that matched the performance of the facility's most experienced instructors. The candidates who had been watching Alexandra's demonstration were beginning to understand that their medical officer possessed shooting capabilities that exceeded their own training. The mockery that had characterized their earlier interactions was being replaced by obvious respect and curiosity. Petty Officer Stevens, who had initiated the challenge, approached Alexandra with an expression that mixed embarrassment and amazement. "Ma'am, I owe you a serious apology. I completely misjudged your background and capabilities." But Alexandra's demonstration was far from over. Senior Chief Roberts, now genuinely curious about the extent of her abilities, made an offer that would reveal the full scope of her expertise. "Doc, would you be interested in trying the 1,000-meter range? That's where we test candidates for selection to advanced sniper training." The 1,000-meter challenge represented elite-level precision shooting that only the military's most capable marksmen could achieve consistently. Environmental factors at this distance required expert-level compensation, and the shooting techniques involved exceeded basic military training by significant margins. Alexandra's acceptance of the 1,000-meter challenge was delivered with the same calm confidence she had shown throughout the demonstration. "I'd be happy to attempt shots at that distance if it would be useful for training purposes." The preparation for 1,000-meter shooting involved equipment and calculations that revealed Alexandra's true level of expertise. She made ballistic adjustments with mathematical precision, compensated for wind conditions with professional competence, and prepared for shots that would test capabilities possessed by only a small percentage of military personnel. Her shooting position at 1,000 meters was refined and professional, demonstrating techniques that are taught only in the military's most advanced marksmanship programs. Her breathing control, sight picture, and trigger manipulation represented years of specialized training and operational experience. Alexandra's first shot at 1,000 meters impacted near the target center, close enough to demonstrate capability, with room for the minor adjustments that professional shooters make when engaging targets at extreme distances. Her second shot was dead center. Her third, fourth, and fifth shots created a group at 1,000 meters that matched the best performance in the facility's records. The electronic scoring system confirmed precision shooting that placed Alexandra among the top marksmen who had ever trained at the facility. The range was completely silent. 30 SEAL candidates, 5 marksmanship instructors, and facility staff stood motionless, staring at a medical officer who had just demonstrated shooting capabilities that exceeded those of most military personnel they had ever encountered. Chief Martinez was the first to speak, and his voice carried obvious respect and professional curiosity. "Ma'am, that's some of the best shooting we've ever seen at this facility. Where did you learn to shoot like that?" Alexandra's response provided the first glimpse into background that none of them had suspected. "My previous assignments required integration of medical and precision shooting capabilities." The revelation that their medical officer had operational shooting experience beyond their own backgrounds was beginning to reshape how everyone at the facility viewed her role and capabilities. Senior Chief Roberts asked the question everyone was thinking. "Doc, what kind of medical assignments require precision shooting at 1,000 meters?" Alexandra's answer revealed operational experience that most military personnel never encounter. Medical support for special operations units where traditional medical evacuation isn't possible and where medical personnel are required to eliminate threats that prevent them from reaching wounded operators. The implications of her statement were staggering. The medical officer who had been dismissed as routine support staff had operational experience supporting the military's most elite units in combat environments where medical personnel were required to function as precision marksmen. Master Chief Petty Officer Harrison, the facility's senior enlisted leader, approached Alexandra with obvious respect and professional interest. Lieutenant Commander Kane, I think we need to discuss your background and how it might enhance our training operations. Over the following hours, the full scope of Alexandra's experience began to emerge. She hadn't just received advanced marksmanship training. She had been a precision marksman for special operations units conducting the most classified missions in the global war on terrorism. Her medical credentials were equally impressive. She held advanced degrees in trauma surgery and emergency medicine, had completed specialized training in combat casualty care, and had provided medical support for operations that required saving lives under direct enemy fire. The missions I supported, Alexandra explained to the assembled candidates and instructors, required medical personnel who could eliminate threats that prevented them from reaching wounded operators and provide advanced medical care while under direct enemy fire. Success required seamless integration of medical expertise and precision shooting capabilities. Her operational experience included medical evacuations through hostile territory, precision elimination of enemy snipers who were targeting American forces, and trauma surgery performed while positions were under direct attack. She had saved lives and taken them with equal professional competence. The transformation in how facility personnel viewed Alexandra was immediate and profound. The medical officer who had been seen as routine support staff was revealed as one of the most experienced precision marksmen and combat medical officers in the military. Petty Officer Stevens, whose challenge had initiated the revelation, approached Alexandra with obvious embarrassment and respect. Ma'am, I don't know how to apologize for completely misjudging your background. You've achieved things that most of us will never accomplish. Alexandra's response demonstrated the professionalism that had characterized her entire career. No apology necessary, Petty Officer Stevens. My previous assignments required maintaining operational security about capabilities and experience. Your assumptions were reasonable based on available information. The immediate question facing facility leadership was how to utilize Alexandra's extraordinary capabilities to enhance training operations. Her combination of precision shooting expertise and advanced medical knowledge offered opportunities to develop training programs that reflected operational realities. Master Chief Harrison made the decision that would transform training at the facility. Lieutenant Commander Kane, we'd like you to develop advanced training scenarios that integrate your operational experience with our current curriculum. Your expertise could significantly enhance the preparation we provide to our candidates. Alexandra accepted the expanded role, understanding that her shooting demonstration had permanently changed her position at the facility. Over the following weeks, she began developing training programs that reflected the operational integration of medical and precision shooting capabilities she had experienced in combat. The advanced training program Alexandra developed became unlike anything available in military education. Located within the SEAL training complex, but expanded to include specialized facilities for integrated medical tactical training, the program taught candidates that modern special operations required seamless combination of multiple skill sets. Her curriculum included precision shooting while providing medical care, medical evacuation under hostile fire, tactical medicine where medical personnel led combat operations, and decision-making exercises where medical and tactical requirements had to be balanced under extreme stress. What we're creating, Master Chief Harrison explained to visiting special operations commanders, is training that reflects operational realities where medical emergencies occur during precision shooting missions and where medical personnel must be capable of tactical leadership when situations require it. Alexandra's training scenarios were based on actual operational experience rather than theoretical situations. Candidates learned to provide advanced trauma care while maintaining precision shooting capabilities, to conduct medical evacuations while engaging targets at extreme distances, and to make leadership decisions that integrated medical and tactical requirements. The realism of her training attracted attention from special operations commands throughout the military. Her scenarios reflected operational environments that most trainers could only imagine, and her instruction methods were based on techniques developed and refined through combat experience. During one particularly challenging exercise, candidates were required to conduct precision elimination of multiple targets while simultaneously providing medical support for wounded team members. The scenario required maintaining shooting accuracy while performing medical procedures, demonstrating integration of capabilities that traditional training kept separate. Alexandra's performance during instructor demonstrations was exceptional. She provided advanced trauma care while engaging targets at 800 meters, maintained precision shooting capabilities while directing medical evacuations, and demonstrated leadership decision-making that balanced medical requirements with tactical necessities. Outstanding execution, the visiting Special Operations Commander observed. This integrated training approach produces operators who can function effectively in any role required for mission success. The success of Alexandra's programs led to their adoption throughout naval special warfare and eventually across all special operations commands. Her methods influenced military training worldwide and established new standards for integrated medical tactical capability development. International Special Operations Forces began requesting training at the facility specifically to experience Alexandra's programs. Her reputation within the global special operations community grew through successful training methods that other nations adapted for their own elite units. Her influence extended to policy development that changed how military medical personnel were selected, trained, and utilized. Traditional assumptions about medical support roles were replaced with understanding that modern special operations required medical personnel who could function as full team members with integrated capabilities. The facility that had once echoed with mockery of medical personnel became the premier location for integrated medical tactical training. Students from across the military competed for selection to programs that represented the gold standard for special operations medical education. But perhaps Alexandra's greatest contribution was demonstrating that exceptional capability often comes disguised as routine professional service. Her willingness to serve quietly in roles that underutilized her abilities while waiting for opportunities to contribute at her highest level became an example of professional excellence throughout the military. Years later, when Alexandra transitioned to senior leadership positions within Special Operations Medical Command, her legacy lived on in the enhanced training programs she developed and in the understanding that true professional excellence often requires maintaining humility about extraordinary capabilities. Her story reminded everyone that in special operations, the most valuable people are often those whose true experience and abilities remain carefully concealed behind routine professional responsibilities. The medical officer who appeared ordinary had been one of the military's most extraordinary precision marksmen and combat medical officers. The training programs that grew from Alexandra's influence produced generations of special operations personnel who understood that excellence required integration of all capabilities necessary for mission success, regardless of traditional role boundaries or career specialty limitations. The moment when Alexandra's shots silenced the range had lasted only minutes, but its impact continued for years, reminding everyone that exceptional capabilities often hide behind the most humble professional service, and that the people we notice least may be the ones with the most important contributions to make. The facility where medical personnel had once been dismissed became a place where every individual's potential was recognized and developed regardless of their apparent specialty or background. Alexandra's legacy became a permanent reminder that true excellence often serves quietly until called upon to demonstrate the full extent of its capabilities. This story was brought to you by Silent Salute. Before we leave you today, here's our question. Have you ever discovered that someone in a routine professional role possessed extraordinary expertise that they kept hidden? Have you witnessed moments when quiet competence revealed itself as exceptional capability? Tell us in the comments about times when you realized you'd been working alongside someone whose abilities far exceeded what their position suggested. And if you believe that the most exceptional people are often those who serve without seeking recognition for their extraordinary capabilities, hit that subscribe button to support our channel. Every story reminds us that true excellence often hides behind humble service, and that the people who appear most ordinary may possess the most extraordinary abilities. We'll see you in the next story where we'll discover another incredible tale of hidden expertise and the moment when exceptional capability was finally revealed.